How can a man walk away from a child that he has been raising for 3, 5, 10, 15 years simply because the DNA test shows that he's not the biological father?
It'd be really easy. Let me tell you why. Because I was deceived the entire time. That entire time spending with that kid, raising it, talking to him, whatever, boy or girl, it was a lie because my spouse, fiance, or whatever lied to me, cheated on me behind my back this entire time. Didn't say nothing until I found out my own. Yeah, I couldn't do it. It's just like deception. So whether it's 5, 10, 15 years of straight deception and lies, wouldn't be a problem. I commend the guys who could, but I know I couldn't. Fuck that.
Hear me out here. I'm not being insensitive. I know that his world has just been turned upside down.
No shit.
I know he feels betrayed. He's devastated. I empathize. I sympathize with his predicament. However, how is one able to walk away from a child that one has bonded with, loved, nurtured, poured blood and sweat into, simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father?
Yes, that's why. Ever heard of Animal Kingdom? It's men are primal. We're more primal than females are. You know, when the lion comes in, he takes over the pride. He first thing he does is get rid of all the cubs from the previous alpha. So when he does mate, he knows good and hell well that those are his kids or his cubs, and that he's going to continue his lineage. So why am I going to continue somebody else's lineage? You know, looking at the kid every day, knowing it's not me. You're seeing just a constant reminder of my spouse lied to me. My spouse cheated. Why would you do that? I got 4 kids. My oldest is 25. So I know my kids are mine. I had my DNA test done. So ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I will walk away real quick in a hurry because it's a lie. No matter how close you got to the kid, it was a lie.
I understand getting rid of the Y for the girlfriend. The word I actually want to
Gone.
use starts with a W and rhymes with shore. Get rid
Whore.
of the W. But the children or the child, the innocent child, it is flummoxing to me.
It's not my fault. Not my fault. You the one who did it.
Now, I'm not a man and I do not know how this impacts men. I also know that there's deep shame.
Shame,
But
pride,
were I in that predicament,
humiliation.
of course I would be devastated. I'd be hurt and betrayed. But then I'd let the children know or the child know. You may not be my biological child, but you're still my child.
It's easier because you're a woman.
I love you. You're my child in my heart. I've bonded with you. I've raised you. So nothing changes.
See, it's easy like that. Like I said, because she's a woman. Women are more nurturing. Women are more empathetic, sympathetic. You know, when the wet nurses, you know, women are able to provide milk to other women's children when the actual mother is sick or down or absent. Women could do that. A guy, you know, it takes a lot for a man to come in to do something like that. Take over another kid, you know, through the woman getting divorced and she has a kid, bringing in, that's completely different. You know, you being there with the woman, thinking that that kid that was born out of her is yours, and just to find that that entire time it's a lie. Yeah, I can't follow that. I'm sorry.
Now I know a lot of men worry about, oh, then I have to continue paying I have to pay child
It's
support
not that.
now that we're not
That's not the
together.
case.
So what? I'd pay the child support. Because you know what? Even though everything has changed, nothing should have changed because it's still the child that I raised, bonded with, and loved.
Through infidelity. You said, although nothing, everything has changed, nothing has changed. You crazy, lady. Everything has changed. Everything. You know, you go buy a kid a PS5. You buy some other kid a PS5, or some other man's kid a PS5, Jordans, whatever the case is. That is not your kid. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
And in an attempt not to pay child support, one ends up cutting off one's nose to spite one's face. Because you got to look at the big picture, the
Big picture?
relationship with that child, the continued relationship, and the ability to go ahead and raise and nurture that child
Nope.
because you already have that bonded relationship.
Nope.
But once again, because I'm not a man, I do not understand
So
how
she's just talking out of her ass. And you're not. You're saying all this, to nurture, to continue doing this, to do this. Once again, I'm not a man. Exactly. There it is, right there. You don't know the type of shame, the deep regret, guilt, being lied to the entire time, the deceit. You don't know.
anybody can walk away from a child. Story time. My husband had a boss about 20 years ago. This gentleman's son had some medical issues. And to make a long story short, he found out that his 19-year-old son was not his biological
19.
child.
That's crazy.
Needless to say, he was devastated. But you know what? He had raised this child for 19 years, was paying for college. This was his son, and he was not going to let him go. And my heart broke for him, but I was so proud of this man because he did not walk away from his child.
See
And I
it?
think at times some men might think walking
Beta.
away from the child is a way to punish the woman for her
How does Jesse Lee Peterson say? Beta. Beta.
betrayal. But at the end of the day, the person
Nope.
you're hurting is the child. And I can't help but wonder, won't you be traumatized as a person walking away from someone that you've bonded with?
Whose fault is it though? That's just escaping accountability. It's just accountability has left the chat. That's all that is. Love it anyway. We're married. You've bonded. We've been there since the very beginning. He's 10 years old. He thinks you're his father. Nah.
That you've loved? For the man, isn't that traumatic? I mean, I really do not understand.
Well, quit saying it then.
I just
Shit.
cannot relate. And once again, I'm not a man. I'm sensitive to the hurt, to the pain, to the betrayal. But is it right to walk away from a child
Yes.
you've bonded with simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father? Food for thought.
The sooner you discover this, the easier it is to walk away. So 3 years, it shouldn't be that bad. It'll suck, but you can move on, get another chick. 5 years, 10 years, that's what, about, fifth grade, about Pee Wee League, football, baseball, basketball, whatever the case is. 15 years, high school, as a sophomore, damn. But all this because a woman decided to lie behind your back all those years, cheating all those years. And if she's probably still seeing dude, and they just laughing at your face, yeah, he's paying for everything. He got one over on you. And you're supposed to roll with that guilt, that shame, that deceit. Like nothing happened. Oh, I bonded with it. I can't do it. But I commend those who can. Like, hats off to you, salute. I couldn't do it. I know good and hell well I can't do it. I'm a Gen X kid. I can't do that shit. But that's my thoughts. That's my comments on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about it? Was she right? Could you look past that? All that shame, all that hurt, all that guilt, the deceit, and be there for the kid. Kid comes of age, your time, you're getting older, you can still make a kid eventually. But, and thank God. And like, what if, you have a kid with her after that, you find out that the kid isn't yours, he's 15, but you also have a kid with her, and to find out that your kid is like 8 or 9, and that's your kid, but the older one isn't. I don't see how. I know it happens. It happens a lot. I don't see how people can do it. Oh man, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Let's read some of these comments though. This is the wrong question to ask. Ask the woman, why would she put a man in this predicament in the first place? Exactly. Because men want to choose who they take care of, not tricked or forced. Yep. This is why we need mandatory DNA testing. I've said this before, and I'll continue saying it. Before the birth certificate is signed. I know, because once you sign that birth certificate, it's damn near an act of Congress to get your name off of that. You're gonna be stuck with that, DNA test. That kid is being yours for its entire life. When you find out that it's not yours after you sign, that shit sucks. The same way women are able to walk away from a relationship that they had with their husband for 5 plus 10 plus 20 plus years, because I don't love you anymore. and decide to leave. Wake up one morning, he's like, I don't love you anymore, or I cheat, or I want to divorce you, take half your shit. She couldn't answer that though. Thanks for your response. Yeah, exactly. Because every time he looks at the kid, he reminds of the betrayal, or remembers the betrayal. Exactly. That's what I'm coming in at. It's the betrayal. It's true. That's what it does for me. Betrayal. It's a lie. The entire time. Every birth should come from a DNA test. Exactly. It just goes on and on and on. Betrayal kills love. See? It's the betrayal for me. That's what I'm saying. The man was deceived. You answered your own question. The child is not his. Exactly. It's I don't understand why this lady couldn't understand that. The mother destroyed. Say it out loud. It's her fault. It's traumatic for both the child and the man, but it's all her fault. Exactly. But like I said, that's my thoughts. That's my comments. I know I couldn't do it. I commend those who can, but ain't happening here. But let me know. Thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next video. Peace.